Name.
This is a WCBI First Alert Severe Weather Update.
104 on this Sunday morning. I'm WCBI meteorologist Trevor Birchett. We are back on air with you because we have a new tornado warning that has been issued. This is going to include the northeastern corner of Union County, a good chunk of Prentiss County. This does include the city of Boonville and another good chunk of Tishomingo County. So let's zoom in a little bit more. We'll show you where this rotation is. A pretty healthy rotation signature on this one, actually. And you can see, I'll switch over to our shear rate product. That little circle you see there where those brighter colors are, that is our area of rotation. So Pleasant Ridge, Graham, Halltown area. It's basically going to be right on top of County Road 183 is where this rotation is. So if you are in this location, or if you know anybody that might be asleep, not paying attention, give them a call, make sure they're up. Again, we like to hope that folks have their phone on and they're paying attention and they get that alert. But if they're not, try to give them a call, try to wake them up because that's a pretty stout rotation signature. This is going to be moving off to the north and east at about 45 miles an hour. So what we'll do here, we'll put a little storm track on this. Again, this is going to include the city of Boonville. So if you're in Boonville, now is the time to get in your tornado safe place. That is going to be around 127 into the city of Boonville. And again, that little hook you see there, kind of near Pleasant Ridge and Parks, that's eastern Union County. This does not include New Albany. But again, by 127, this is going to be in the central portion of Boonville and Prentiss County here in the next couple of minutes. So what we can do, let's clear all this out of here. We'll zoom in just a little bit more and we'll kind of, investigate the circulation, if you will. Again, eastern Union County is where this thing is now. Graham Community, Halltown, east of Highway 30, north of the Alpine Community, right in here. And that's going to continue off to the north and east, right up 30 kind of. Lebanon, Blackland, Frankstown could go, pretty close to Boonville. So Boonville, safe places. And again, Haley, if you want to go ahead and get those safe places up, we can pop back to you here in just a little bit. Let's see if we've got a BTI on this. When we do, it's going to be a 3.2. So that's not an astronomical number, but it's still an indication that we've got something spinning around in here. And again, we were hopeful that these storms would continue to weaken, and it looks like they will, but they're just taking their time. And we're going to have to watch this one carefully. I think if we have a threat of a tornado, it's going to be with these storms up here, but it's certainly possible that we get some kind of little spinning there. You see that new circle that just popped up right in there? That's the radar indicating some sort of rotation. And again, that's going to be in eastern portions of Union County. I'll clear some of this off. We'll zoom in. So County Road 172, right where 30 intersects with Highway 9 near the Halltown community. That's where it is now. But where it's going to be, it's basically going to follow up Highway 30. So there's 30 right there up to Lebanon once it crosses into Prentiss County. And it could come, kind of in between Boonville and Frankstown. So if you're in that neck of the wood, now is the time to be in your safe place. And Haley, again, Haley Fitzpatrick is joining us tonight as well on this very late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Haley, tell folks where they need to be if they're in this tornado warning right now.
Yeah, exactly. We do have a line of thunderstorms moving through.
And Haley, I think we're having some trouble with your microphone. Is that right? Okay, yeah, we'll come back to you in just a little bit. Guys, just let me know when you're ready back there. We got her? Okay, go ahead, Haley. Sorry, guys. We're tossing things around a little bit. Haley, tell them where they need to go.
Yeah, no, like I said, we do have a line of stronger thunderstorms, some severe moving through early this morning. It's 1:08 a.m. on this beautiful Sunday morning. If you are in a line for a tornado warning, the best place you need to be is a tornado shelter, safe place, or a basement. Mississippi homes don't really have basements, so I would recommend being in the most center part of your home, away from any doors and windows. Take yourself away from the outside of any part of your home. So whether that's an indoor bathroom, anywhere that doesn't have windows, a closet, a pantry, or anything like that. That's exactly where you need to be. A better place, the lowest floor or the most interior room of the house. That's what I just said. These are kind of like your two go-tos here in terms of where you need to be when it comes to a tornado being in your area. The worst place to be is going to be your car, a mobile home, or under some sort of highway passage. That is not going to be your best place for a tornado moving through or any sort of severe weather as well. So I'm going to kind of go through this list really quick. So another graphic that we have that we can show you guys is the difference between a watch and a warning. So we are under this tornado watch, most of northeastern Mississippi, as well as our western Alabama counties as well. We are under this tornado watch until around 6 a.m. So what does that mean for us, basically? It's indicating that there are storms possible that have the likelihood of a tornado that could spin up. So this doesn't mean there's a tornado at your back door, but we do have the potential to see a tornado form from these storms moving through. So stay weather aware, of course. This is really early in the morning. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. These storms aren't going to be up and out of here until around 6, 7 a.m. So make sure to have a way to receive any sort of weather warnings, whether that be your phone apps, watching us locally, watching your local TV station. Tornado warning, if you're under a tornado warning, this is when a tornado has been spotted or there's some sort of rotation detected. So you do need to be within your safe place. Have your safe place handy if you know where that is, or find it immediately. Seek shelter immediately. So Trevor, I'm going to send it back to you so you can show them what's going on radar.
Yeah, some great tips there. The difference between a watch and a warning. A lot of folks under the watch right now. A few folks are under the warning. And here's that red polygon. That is our tornado warning. So if you are in this polygon, you've got to be in your tornado safe place. This area of rotation is back near Graham. So it's over the Graham community in eastern Union County right now. It's going to eventually be toward Frankstown by 123, Lake City by 131, Boonville by about 130, if not just after it, and then could be near Blythe's Chapel and Hobo Station by around 137. And again, what we told you was this looks like it could be a pretty serious rotation signature. There is some really, really tight rotation right there. This is along Highway 30. Graham and Lebanon are right there. This is going to be right in between the Graham and Lebanon areas. And that is a pretty good indication of some rotation there, guys. So we've really got to take this one seriously. Boonville, if you know somebody that's in Boonville that maybe is not watching, call them, wake them up, make sure they're aware of the situation. Because, again, and let's see here, we've got some new information coming in. Let's see. That is going to be the tornado warning. We've got another tornado warning now for another storm. We'll talk about that in just a moment. I want to get to this, though, because that is a really serious rotation signature near Lebanon, moving to the northeast. So the bottom line with this one is Boonville, Frankstown, Bynum, tornado safe places now. We don't have any indication of debris being lofted up with this storm. That's good news. But that is some pretty serious rotation there. Now, we've got a new tornado warning I want to get to. We were just talking about this storm a little bit ago. This is now a tornado warning that is going to include Lafayette, Pontotoc, northern Calhoun, and portions of Yalobusha County. This is going to go until 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. now north of Water Valley. That's an area of rotation as well, moving off to the northeast. So we've got 2 tornado warnings now that are in effect for portions of the WCBI viewing area. Here's kind of a broad view of those, so you have an idea of kind of who is in the warning and who is out. So I would say my biggest concern right now is that storm near Boonville. So Boonville, Prentiss County, safe places now. If you're in southern Lafayette County, south of Oxford, Oxford's not included in this, but if you're south of Oxford, south of 278, and then if you're over into Pontotoc along 278, you've got to be in your tornado safe place. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit between these. We haven't really investigated this storm yet, but again, a very similar rotation signature near the Marquette community. We had a tornado go through here, a very weak tornado a couple of years ago, but really in that same area where the 7-9 split is, we've got some rotation there south of Oxford, moving off to the northeast toward the Altus and Denmark communities. So safe places in southern Lafayette County. Does not include the city of Oxford, but if you're in, if you're along 278 going toward Pontotoc from Oxford, that's kind of where this rotation center is going. I want to bounce back to our Prentiss County storm because, again, we've got some pretty serious rotation here on the Prentiss and Union County line. So this is Union County here. This is Prentiss County. Very strong indications of rotation here along the Union and the Prentiss County line, and it's coming right up Highway 30. So Osborne Creek, Frankstown, between Frankstown and Boonville, Lake City, safe places now. Again, and what we can do here, let's see if we've got a BTI value on this. So the BTI with this is a 5.8. 5.8, we've told you that's a scale of 1 to 10 of the likelihood of this being a tornado. Right now it's a 5.8, but I'll tell you, it's some pretty staunch rotation, probably the strongest rotation I've seen on radar in a while. And again, we don't have an indication that this is on the ground right at this moment, but it's serious enough that I want you to treat it as if it is a tornado that is on the ground right now. Because that area right there, and again, here's your latest update, maybe not quite as strong, still a decent area of rotation. Again, Highway 30, I'll zoom in just a little bit on this. We'll give you an idea of kind of street level where this thing is headed. So it's along Highway 30, County Road 6051 into the 7,000 county roads, and that's going to be up here in this direction. So Osborne Creek along 45 North, you are going to be next in line for this area of rotation. So I want to reset the scene here and just give you a good idea of what is going on because we've got a couple of different warnings here. Again, nothing in Columbus right now, nothing in Starkville, nothing in West Point. But if you know anybody in Boonville, if you know anybody in Prentiss County, Southern Lafayette County, or in Pontotoc, call them, make sure they're awake, and make sure they're watching TV because we've got several indications of rotation here. Let me bounce back to our Oxford storm and just give you an idea of kind of what's going on here. Again, still pretty decent rotation south of Oxford as well, near the Marquette community. Again, this is Highway 7 here. This is where the 7-9 split is right there. Rotation looking pretty decent right there. So again, if you're in those areas, be in your tornado safe places. That's going to move off to the north and east. We'll put a storm track on this one. We haven't done that yet. And we'll get an idea of where this thing is headed here. It's going to be near Thaxton in Pontotoc County by about 1:38, if not just a little bit later than that. I'll give you some more communities here. Hopefully you see your community here. If you see your community here, you've got to be in your tornado safe place. Altus by 124, Thaxton by 138, Pinedale by 140, and then eventually toward Rocky Ford by 144. And if it holds together, it would come pretty close to Pontotoc. So Pontotoc is back over there as well. You see it right there. So if that does hold together, it's going to continue just like that and could go just to the north of Pontotoc. So great indications of rotation there. Obviously not great for the folks that are there, but great in terms of the potential for a tornado, if you know what I mean. So again, we're concerned about that right now. That's going to be south of Oxford. Oxford is not in the tornado warning, but if you are south and east of Oxford along 278, that's kind of where this thing is headed. And it's going to be into Pontotoc County shortly after that. Let's see, just some new information coming in from the National Weather Service. And I know we're kind of bouncing back. I might be making you dizzy a little bit, moving the radar so much. But, you know, this thing is really, looks like it could be coming right into Boonville. So I want to focus on that just a little bit more. You see that circle there? I'm going to turn it off for just a minute and just give you a better idea of where this thing is headed. Again, here's State Route 30 right there as it goes into Frankstown. And that area of rotation, again, where you see the greens and the reds right together, that is our area of rotation. Is this on the ground right now? We don't know. We certainly hope it's not. What this is showing us is there's some rotation in the cloud. Unfortunately, we don't have a good idea of if this thing is on the ground or not because the radar can't see the ground. It only sees the sky. It sees the clouds. And we don't want you out there trying to spot the storm, trying to see it for us. We'll be fine. We'll get people in their shelter. We don't need you out there looking for it because it's nighttime. It's pouring rain. You're not going to see this tornado if there is one. Again, we hope there isn't a tornado, but if you're in any of these communities, Highway 45 north of Baldwin, up towards Boonville, Rienzi, Bynum, Altitude eventually, Hills Chapel, Blythe's Chapel, this area of rotation back there just crossing into Prentiss County, it looks pretty staunch. Looks like it could be trying to spin something up. We'll watch it here for the next little bit. I do want to give a little bit of an all clear for folks. If you're in New Albany or if you're in the northeastern corner of Union County, I think you're okay. What has happened is that storm has crossed right now into Prentiss County. So if you're in the northeastern corner of Prentiss County, that is where, you know, the storm has kind of exited. I think we're looking okay. Problem is, now to our south and west, we've got this next storm coming out of Lafayette County that is also going to impact Union County. So Union County is under this tornado warning as well. It does not include New Albany either, but it's going to be for southern portions of Union County. Again, that area of circulation south of Oxford. It looks like it could mainly affect Pontotoc County, southern Union County over the next little bit. Again, if you're just joining us, if you're just waking up, your phone has gone off, if you hear sirens, we are working a couple of different tornado warnings in our area right now. But a wide view for you really quick. What's going on around the region? Nothing in Columbus right now, nothing in Starkville. That's why we're not talking about you. This line of storms that's coming through generally looks to be producing some damaging wind gusts and a little bit of heavy rain. But along I-22, the ingredients are just right to try to produce a few little spin-up tornadoes up there. So that's why we're on the air with you. Where we have tornado warnings right now, we've got this one box here. That's going to be for southern Lafayette, much of Pontotoc, and southern Union County. And we've got another tornado warning now that really right now our main focus is in Prentiss County because it looks like there's some pretty serious circulation just getting ready to move toward Boonville. And I'll tell you a little bit of good news here. Take this for what it's worth. The circulation doesn't look as tight. You can't really look at that and say, okay, that's where it is. That's where the rotation is. It just doesn't look quite as impressive as it did when it crossed over into Prentiss County from Union County. So that's where it crossed over. That's where we had a really good signature of a possible tornado. That was at 1:12. So that was about 8 or 9 minutes ago. Move that forward now. And that's over Frankstown right now. So Frankstown, you've got to be in your safe place now. Boonville, you've got to be in your safe place now. Next up is going to be along 364 altitude, Hills Chapel and Blythe's Chapel. But if there is any good news out of this, at this moment, it would appear that things might be kind of on a downward trend. I don't want you to come out of your safe place. I don't want you to think the threat is over, but maybe just a little bit of a shining light there that things are trying to weaken just a little bit. There is still a ton of rain. There is still a ton of lightning. There's still a ton of wind. But in terms of the tornado threat, it doesn't look as serious as it did just a couple of minutes ago. Still, though, Boonville, this thing is wrapping up right on top of you. If there is a tornado, it's going to be moving into Boonville, into Frankstown within the next couple of minutes, if not already there. So Boonville, again, over toward altitude, Hills Chapel, Blythe's Chapel. That's kind of where this thing is headed. We've got a new scan on that. So before we go back to the Oxford storm, I want to take a look at that. And again, I'm still kind of seeing the same thing. It's just not as impressive as it was just a little bit ago. And you'll excuse all those noises. That's the Weather Service sending us some new information. There's still a little bit of rotation there over Boonville and a little bit in Frankstown. They have cleared the warning now from Union County. So northeastern Union County, as I mentioned, I gave you the all clear just a little bit ago. But if this thing holds together, if it continues to produce the level of rotation that we're seeing right now, could be an issue for Tishomingo County, because Tishomingo, city of Tishomingo, you're in this warning midway up towards Iuka. We just had a warning for you about an hour ago. We've got another one now. Hopefully this thing will be weakening sooner rather than later. But for right now, safe places if you're in Prentiss County and central Tishomingo County, and that warning is going to go until 1:30. So we're going to be with you at least for the next 9 minutes for that. One more quick check of the Oxford storm, and then Haley will get to you here in just a moment. As one weekends, it looks like this one is almost strengthening just a little bit. Again, now we're talking about the Oxford storm. You can almost kind of pick out what I'm picking out. That brighter dot right there near Delay, Cornish, Tula, Denmark, south of 334 along 331. Some rotation there, and that's going to kind of be following up 334 and 278 into Prentiss County. We'll put a storm track on this quickly and get you an idea of where this thing is going. So if this holds together, Pontotoc by 1:48, Algoma by 1:46. So, that's 15 to 20 minutes. So if you're awake right now and you know anybody in Pontotoc, Thaxton, Algoma, give them a call. Make sure they're awake. Make sure they're watching. Not a defined rotation center. Doesn't look like there is, any damage that's been caused, at least as of right now. Let's see there. I'm just kind of looking at this interesting signature right there. There's a little interesting blip right there along 334. Hard to say if that's, tornado debris. Could just be some bugs in the sky that the radar is seeing. But the bottom line is, south of Oxford, some rotation going on moving into Pontotoc County, and then another serious bit of rotation up in Prentiss County. As I mentioned, meteorologist Haley Fitzpatrick, she's also here. She's keeping a close eye on these storms. She's got a wider view of what's going on. And Haley, as I mentioned, really not a lot going on in the Golden Triangle, but that could be changing here pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. There's really not a whole lot going on for us back here in Starkville, in Columbus, but this line of storms, this huge line of storm is what I should say, they're moving pretty quick, around 55 miles per hour. It's going to be sweeping this area at some point early Sunday morning. So it's 1:24 a.m. right now. We won't see this come in here until around maybe 3, 4 a.m., maybe even 5 a.m. Should be out of the area by about 7 or 8 a.m. And then the sun is going to be out tomorrow. So I guess we deserve it after today, being up at 1:30 in the morning with this big line of thunderstorms. But nonetheless, the orange polygons, these are going to be your severe thunderstorm warnings. These red polygons are going to be your tornado warnings. So we do have 2 issued for northern Mississippi. And I'm going to zoom into this really quick and show you just exactly what we have going on. If you are seeing a big line of thunderstorms move through your area, you're probably experiencing a lot of winds, very gusty winds. I saw on the chat up to 70-mile-per-hour winds as this thing moves in, and you could be seeing some small hail too, around penny-sized hail. So we do have that in the mix for you guys, as well as these tornado warnings over near Oxford. South of Oxford is what we're seeing. I'm also going to pull up a velocity scan on this. So there is a little bit of rotation with this. The red is going to be away from the radar. Oh, I just touched that. Away from the radar. The green is going to be towards the radar. So we have a little bit of rotation moving with this. And this storm has been pretty amplified within the past few minutes. We don't see anything on correlation coefficient. This is a good thing. There's something right here that could be some of the radar debris that we're seeing, but this is a good thing that we're not seeing any blues in here, because that would mean that there is a tornado on the ground picking up some sort of, debris, leaves, trees, branches, all that stuff. So that's a good thing we don't see that, but just resetting the scene a little bit, we do have a huge line of thunderstorms moving through northern Mississippi. This is going to eventually make its way into Columbus. Hopefully it's going to calm down by the time this moves through. This hopefully is going to be our last warnings. I hope. I keep saying I hope, but here we are at 1:30 in the morning. So who knows? Trevor, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, you're right. And that's something we're going to be watching very carefully. We are hopeful that eventually these things are going to start to weaken, and we really think they will. I don't think we're going to be dealing with tornado issues for Columbus, Starkville, and West Point tonight. I just don't. I really think these issues up along I-22 is really what we're going to be stuck with here. And hopefully by 2 a.m. we can call this quits and we'll be done with the tornado threat. I want to take it back to Boonville right now. We've got a pretty good rotation signature on the east side of Boonville. This is going to be kind of where Highway 4 and Highway 30 intersect. Right now, it's kind of right over Hills Chapel, moving off to the north and east. So again, here's the downtown Boonville right there. And our rotation is right here. So that's Highway 4, you see, Highway 30. So just to the east of that intersection, moving toward altitude up Highway 364. So it looks like the most serious part of this rotation has now moved east of Boonville. And again, Haley was talking about our debris detector. We still don't see that little blip. We look for a little blue or a green dot in here, and that would show us there's something's being picked up by the tornado. We're not seeing that right now, which more than likely means there's not a tornado right now with this storm. But it's serious enough rotation that we want to treat it as if it could be at any moment. Just because we don't see that debris right now doesn't mean there couldn't be debris here in the next little bit. So again, here's that area of rotation east of Boonville now. So Boonville, you're not all clear yet, but I think the most serious area of rotation has moved off to your east. I want to put a storm track on this quickly to give you an idea of where this thing might be headed. And again, I'm putting a storm track on our potential rotation. So it's going to be raining for everybody, but what I'm tracking is where the potential for a tornado is. And I don't want you to wait until this time to seek shelter, but just to give you an idea, this would be into altitude within the next 3 minutes. Iuka by 151, Owlsboro by 153, and then eventually that would take it into West Alabama and it would be out of our hair. But again, we've got that other storm we're watching. So that's a quick update for Prentiss County. Still some rotation in there. It's still not a great sign. I don't like what I'm seeing. Those greens and reds close together like that, that's a decent area of rotation. Again, here's Hills Chapel right there. Highway 30 runs right there into southern portions of Boonville. This is now east of State Highway 4. in between the Altitude and Hills Chapels community. So if you were up there along County Road 2051, 1371, up towards Cairo, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, I'm sorry in advance. I'll probably get an email about that, I'm sure, but I take my apology for what it is. I truly apologize. But Altitude, again, right there in that area, there's your rotation center moving off to the northeast at a pretty good clip, around 40 to 45 miles an hour. So that's your update on Prentiss County. Still a decent area of rotation out on the leading edge of this storm. Boonville, you're in the heavy rain, you're in the lightning right now. I would venture to say that almost that tornado threat is just past you. You're still in the warning. Don't come out of your safe place. Give it another 10 minutes, maybe I think you'll be okay. But Hills Chapel area, Altitude, there's that rotation, and that's going to put it into Tishomingo County within the next little bit. So Payton, north on 25, up towards 72. If you're in between those areas, you need to be in your tornado safe place as well. So that's the update on Prentiss County. If you're off to the west, I'm not forgetting about you for this area of rotation that is now entering Pontotoc County. We've got several areas of rotation within this little segment as well. And some good news here as well. Nothing right now is screaming to me that this is a tornado. It's just not. And again, that could cycle back. These things like to go kind of up and down. You'll see them weaken and then they'll strengthen right back up. So I don't want you out of your safe place yet. But the gray area, that's winds of like 10 miles an hour. So when we see that and we don't see any greens in there either, it's a good sign for us. It's not our saving grace, but it's a much better sign. We'll check our debris mode again. Aside from that one little blip near Altus along 278, I can't tell you for sure if that's tornado debris. I can tell you there's a potential for it. There was certainly some rotation in that area. But it's something we'll have to watch. That's something that the survey teams will have to check out tomorrow. But I can tell you that at least right at this moment, there's not an intense signature of rotation. Still, though, as I mentioned, I want you to take this seriously because this thing could ramp back up in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to put another storm track on this. Again, this is moving off to the east-northeast at around 40-45 miles an hour. Faxton by 134. And I almost want to say this will say north of Pontotoc. So there's Pontotoc. You're now out of the tornado warning. I don't want to give you the all clear from these storms because you're going to get the storms. But if you're in Pontotoc and you're worried right now, maybe the alarm on your phone woke you up or you heard sirens or your weather radio is sounding, I think that area of rotation is going to go just off to your north. So if you live north of Pontotoc along Highway 15, north of Highway 278 in Pontotoc County, we want you in your safe place as well. Just going to check around on a few more things. Don't mind me. I'm just kind of poke around and see if I see anything interesting going on. And again, very heavy rain still falling. Thaxton, you've maybe even got some hail in there right now. And I'll turn this on. Take a look at this. We'll take a look at our lightning. There are 103 strikes of lightning hitting the ground in this area, what you see in the last 5 minutes. So that's a lot of lightning. There's probably a lot of thunder. You're probably getting woken up. We'll reset the scene here for you if you're just waking up in just a little bit. But again, even if there is not a tornado along 278 coming into Thaxton, there could be. I want you in your safe place. Even if there is not, there is still significant wind, very heavy rain, and maybe a little bit of hail. So here's your scene reset. If you're just waking up with us, you're watching WCBI. I'm meteorologist Trevor Birchett alongside meteorologist Haley Fitzpatrick and a whole host of folks staying up late with us back in the back tonight, getting us on air. We appreciate them for sure. I want to give you a wide view, though. If you're waking up in Columbus, Starkville, West Point, you've got several more hours before this line of storms gets through, and that's good news because that's going to give it some time to weaken as it approaches our area. So I think for the Golden Triangle, we're going to see some rain, we're going to see some wind, we're going to see some lightning by 5 or 6 tomorrow morning. But I don't think, we need to be overly concerned about a tornado warning. I will tell you this right now. Again, that's your scene reset. The only concerns we had were up along I-22. Some good news right now. I was just talking about the rotation kind of looking like it was weakening a little bit over Boonville. It appears the National Weather Service would agree because they have let that tornado warning expire at its regularly scheduled time, which was at 10:30 or 1:30, I should say. I'm not used to being on TV at 1:30 in the morning, excuse me. So that tornado warning for Prentiss County has been allowed to expire. So there's your all clear for Prentiss County. There's your all clear for Tishomingo County. Take that all clear lightly though, because there are still several more areas of potential spin up in the clouds. They're continuing to watch it. There's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and it is a severe thunderstorm with some hail and wind. But at this moment, it does not appear that there's a tornado, and that's good. If it can get through Tishomingo County and not cycle back up, it'll be into Alabama. It'll be out of our area. So we're going to watch that carefully. Again, as of right now, it does not appear that we have a tornado on the ground with that storm. But Haley, we've still got that tornado warning that's back into effect closer to Oxford, and several more hours of storms to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we were saying. Just because you are out of a tornado warning, don't take that lightly, or a severe thunderstorm warning, do not take that lightly, because there's a huge line of thunderstorms mowing through northern Mississippi. Columbus, Starkville, you guys are kind of in the clear right now, but I say that lightly right now because we do expect to see these storms roll through around 3, 4 a.m. These are packing a lot of heavy downpours, heavy rain. Words are hard at 1:30 in the morning. Gosh. Heavy rain, some winds, some very strong winds between 60 and 70 miles per hour, and some hail. I'm going to go ahead and throw the hail swath on here and show you guys just exactly what we've been seeing. So, like I said, heavy winds damaging, strong winds, heavy rain. There we go. I'm telling you, 1:30 in the morning, I can't speak anymore. We do have some hail indication from these storms that have moved through, that are still moving through. The hail has definitely died off. So there's still a little bit of hail, especially down towards closer to Oxford. There's been some hail within these storms, but not as much as we've been seeing. So like I said, like Trevor said, take this very lightly in terms of these storms dying off, because there's just this huge line moving through. We could expect these to ramp up. We could see them die off. It just kind of depends at this point. Like I said, we're going to be here with you guys until these storms move out of the area. We aren't going to be on air unless there is a major tornado warning, unless we see indicated rotation. So if you don't hear your county name, don't freak out, and make sure to get some sleep tonight. Don't, go scarce over these storms. We are watching them. We are monitoring them on radar. I'm actually going to pull up this radar right now so you guys, for people just now getting on, know exactly what they're looking at. But big line of storms moving through, some damaging winds, heavy rain, and the possibility for a spin up in a tornado. Trevor, I'm so serious. Words are so hard at 1:30 in the morning. I keep repeating myself.
No, I will tell you what. I'm looking for the coffee now, and I know a lot of folks are waking up with us too this morning, and they're hearing the sirens, they're hearing the alarms. They might be a little anxious. So trust me, we feel your pain. We don't want to be up right now either, but we're going to be up with you as long as it takes for these storms to get through. I'm going to tell you this: if it eases your anxiety at all in terms of these tornado warnings, I'm not seeing anything right now that is indicating to me that there is a tornado on the ground or a tornado threat with these storms. We still have a tornado warning. We have one tornado warning right now that is going to go for Pontotoc County. It does not include the city of Pontotoc, but I'll tell you this, looking at the rotation signatures, it's not there. A little bit ago in Prentiss County, we had that really tight rotation. I mean, here it's like there's really not much there. There's still a tornado warning until 2 a.m. for Pontotoc County and for eastern Lafayette County. I'm hopeful that will be allowed to expire early. So I want to give you just that update. I'm not overly concerned about anything at this moment. But as Haley said, just because there's not a tornado warning doesn't mean these storms are not strong. Take a look at this. This is our lapse over the last several minutes. 300 strikes of lightning, but watch that at the end. See how it goes down to 301? It was at like almost 400. Now it's 301. That's a good sign that these storms are going to weaken, and it's because they just don't have the fuel anymore. The sun is down. They don't have that heat energy that they need to bubble up anymore. So don't get me wrong. Just because we're losing these tornado warnings and they're starting to expire does not mean that these storms are not going to pack a punch as they come through. We've got that leading edge of storms down through Tishomingo County, Oxford, down through Grenada, all the way back into Arkansas still. I mean, a lot of people aren't even going to get rain until 5 or 6 or 7 in the morning when this line finally comes through. Now, at that point, it's just going to be some rain and wind. And so that's why I've been saying, if you're in Columbus, if you're in Starkville, if you're in West Point, I'm really not overly concerned about a tornado potential for you. I know you're in the tornado watch, at least for Oktibbeha and Clay counties, but I mean, once this line just keeps on rolling, eventually it's just going to kind of lose its punch. There's going to be some rain and wind, but you got to have a lot of energy to make a tornado, and these storms are just tired. I mean, just like I'm sure all of you are waking up at 2 in the morning to tornado sirens. Storms got to go to sleep too. They're sick of this just like we are. So I can't imagine that anything too crazy is going to happen here in the next little bit. If I had to venture a guess, I would say 2 a.m. this tornado warning expires, and then we don't see anything else tornado-wise for the rest of the night. Hopefully you don't see my face again until tomorrow. That's what, or I guess until later today. That's what I would hope. And there it is. Just as I said, tornado warning is now canceled for Union and Pontotoc counties. So we're going to let you go here in just a little bit. We don't have anything on TV right now, so I'm going to stay on for just a little bit longer and just give you a general update. Right now, no tornado warnings currently in effect. Everything's been allowed to expire. We've still got several severe thunderstorm warnings, basically all the way along this line. Folks, if I had to venture a guess, I would say our tornado threat is really ramping down. I can't promise you anything. We still have a tornado watch until 4 a.m. in Mississippi and a tornado watch until 6 a.m. in Alabama. But I think as this line of storms continues to roll through, it's just going to be more of a rain and a wind threat, maybe some hail. I think any day we would take that over a tornado. I know you would. I know I would. So we're going to watch it. We're not going anywhere. I am going to get off the air. I'm going to get off Facebook Live. We will continue to post. We'll continue to post pictures and images. We just won't be live unless there is a tornado warning and a life-threatening weather situation. Right now, that is not the case. We're going to keep a close eye on it, but if you get woken up, by some rain and wind and lightning, there are some strong storms out there, but right now there is not a tornado potential. So I'm going to let you guys go. Stay with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online. For meteorologist Haley Fitzpatrick and everybody back in the back working hard tonight, I'm meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Stay calm, stay safe.
This has been a WCBI First Alert Severe Weather Update. Stay connected with the First Alert team online at WCBI.com, on social media, and on your mobile device with the WCBI News app.
The luxurious adults